TV7 Israel News is made possible thanks to your generous donations.
Shalom, good evening. This is TV7 Israel News, broadcast to you from Jerusalem. And in today's top stories, Jerusalem announces that Israel has entered into the second phase of the war against Hamas and its terror affiliates in the Gaza Strip. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu highlights that the war, which Israel is waging in Gaza, is a question of to be or cease to exist. Unidentified aircraft strike an Iranian convoy attempting to smuggle weapons from Iraq into Syria. Israel has entered into the second stage of the war, which the Islamist Hamas and its terror affiliates from the Gaza Strip forced upon the Jewish state when thousands of terror operatives launched an onslaught on October 7th, slaughtering over 1,400 mostly civilians and wounding thousands of others.
You understand from day one that we are at war. This will be a long process. We are now in the stage of striking the enemy, including by our forces who entered Gaza. The IDF is now focused on only one thing: victory, destroying Hamas, striking as many enemy commanders, operatives, and infrastructure.
IDF Chief of General Staff Lieutenant General Herzi Halevi went on to commend the IDF Artillery Corps, which has been instrumental, alongside the other branches of the Israeli military, in inflicting a devastating blow to the Hamas terror operatives in the Gaza Strip.
I'm very glad to see both commanders and soldiers, men and women. You're doing exemplary work. I am preparing you. We have a long and vigorous process with the intention to contend with Hamas in a comprehensive manner. Work professionally. Take a deep breath, and we will do good. We will emerge victorious and grant our state the security it deserves. The fire that you unleashed on Gaza has brought about a reality in which our ground forces arrive to face an enemy that in part are eliminated, a part are wounded, a part is unable to operate, a part has fled, and a marginal part is there for our forces to fight and eradicate.
Meanwhile, IDF spokesman Brigadier General Daniel Hagari announced overnight that the call on the uninvolved population in Gaza to evacuate southward has reached a critical point in time.
Over the last 2 weeks, we have been calling on residents of the northern Gaza Strip and Gaza City to relocate southward temporarily. Relocating southward is for their personal safety. We are today emphasizing that this is an urgent call.
General Hagari further updated the IDF's casualty figures since the Hamas terror organization launched its brutal onslaught on Israel's southern communities, including the updated number of mostly civilian hostages, which includes a large number of foreign nationals, including particularly from Thailand, India, the Philippines, and the United States of America.
So far, we have notified the families of 311 deceased IDF soldiers and 239 people held hostage. I want to explain this number. It's an incomprehensible number: 239 hostages. Among the hostages are foreign workers, not a small number of them, for whom the process of identification and reaching families is complicated for us. It is taking us time to build up this picture. Hence the number I have cited, 239.
Meanwhile, at the Defense Ministry's headquarters in Tel Aviv, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu announced Jerusalem's decision to move into the second phase of the war.
Citizens of Israel, additional ground forces entered the gates of Gaza yesterday evening, the gates of the fortress of evil. This is the second stage of this war, of which the objectives are clear: the destruction of the military and governing capabilities of Hamas, and returning the hostages back home. We took the decision to widening our ground activity unanimously, including in the War Cabinet, as well as at the Security and Political Cabinet. We took this decision in an informed and planned manner, based on our commitment of safeguarding the state's fate and guaranteeing the safety of our troops. The commanders and soldiers fighting in enemy territory know that the nation and the leadership stand behind them.
The Israeli premier went on to highlight the high morale of the troops who have assembled from all sectors of Israel's society to inflict a devastating blow upon the enemies of Jerusalem.
In recent days, I visited our forces and bases at rally points in the north and in the south. We have a great military, wonderful and heroic soldiers, both Jews and non-Jews, secular and religious, both from the political left and right. All are united and determined in spirit of battle, which I have not witnessed before. They are willing to battle with power and strength an enemy, which embodies a brutal and criminal nature. Our troops are keen on inflicting on the enemy what it deserves for the heinous actions which they inflicted upon our children, women, brother, parents, and friends. For the sake of our existence, and I add, for the sake of all of humanity.
Netanyahu went on to assert that as the people of Israel were commanded, per Deuteronomy chapter 25 verse 17, to remember the atrocities committed by the Amalekites during biblical times, accordingly, will the nation of Israel also remember the atrocities committed by the Palestinians.
We were commanded, remember what the Amalekites did to you. We remember and we are fighting. Our brave warriors, who are currently in Gaza, around Gaza, and the rest of the sectors throughout the land, are joining the list of the heroes of Israel, which includes a chain of heroes from over 3,000 years. From the days of Joshua son of Nun, Yehuda the Maccabee and Bar Kokhba, and the heroes of the 1948 War of Independence, the Six-Day War, the Yom Kippur War, and the rest of Israel's wars. Our heroic troops have one divine goal in front of them, to defeat the murderous enemy, and to ensure our existence in our land. We always said, never again. Never again relates to today. There are moments in the history of each nation faces two possibilities, to be or cease to exist. We are currently faced with such a trial, and I have no doubt of the manner in which it will conclude. We will be victorious. We will be, and we will win.
It is important to know that the Islamist Hamas, as part of its psychological warfare, released footage of 3 innocent hostages who were kidnapped during the onslaught of October 7th massacre. And while Jerusalem's leadership highlighted that it is doing everything to secure their release, Defense Minister Yoav Gallant highlighted that the pressure of war will ultimately force Hamas to return them to Israel.
We are doing everything in our power to return the hostages back to our country. This effort is very complicated, contending with a reality which we have not yet known in the past. We are willing to do everything necessary to return them. This isn't a secondary mission. It is a task of divine importance, and we are committed to this matter. We know with whom we are contending. We are dealing with a murderous organization that murdered children in a premeditated manner. An organization that raped women and broadcast their murders in lifetime. Therefore, let us not delude ourselves. Our enemies are not interested in humanitarian solutions. They are doing everything to evade the stress of war, and the efforts to return our loved ones is an important and central effort for all of us. As the military pressure and firepower intensifies, and as we strike Hamas increasingly harder, the chances of forcing Hamas to reach solutions that will allow us to reach your loved ones, our friends, and beloved.
It is important to know that while Israel is focused on waging war with Hamas and its terror affiliates in Gaza, the IDF is proactively also striking Hezbollah targets in Lebanon in response to repeated attacks against Israeli military positions and communities in the north. Moreover, Iranian proxies in Syria have also launched rockets and mortar shells towards Israel's northern communities over the weekend, drawing retaliatory strikes against both Syrian and Iranian targets in Syria. Following the retaliatory strikes, reports of unidentified aircraft in Syria's eastern Deir ez-Zor governorate emerged overnight when a convoy of Iranian weapons was destroyed as these were attempting to cross from Iraq into Syria. Moreover, in the Israeli capital, a stabbing attack took place earlier today when a Palestinian resident of East Jerusalem struck a border police officer before other forces reacted by eliminating the terrorist.
Firstly, we are dealing with a terror stabbing incident, which, praise God, ended in this manner. A neutralized terrorist and a border police officer who, with God's help, will get better because the stab wound failed to harm a main artery.
Thank you for watching TV7 Israel News. I'd like to encourage you to pray for the peace of Jerusalem and the salvation of Israel. Moreover, if you're blessed by our daily updates and would like to help us bear the cost of these productions, since TV7 Israel is 100% donation-based, please consider making a donation. You can do so by visiting our website at www.tv7israelnews.com. I'm Jonathan Hassan, wishing you a Shavua Mevorach, and God willing, we'll see you during our upcoming TV7 Israel updates. Until then, Shalom from Jerusalem.